the latter days of World War II, a B-17 bomber was flying a mission over Nazi Germany. The plane was hit several times by shells and flak with some direct hits to the fuel tank. Miraculously, the bomber didn't explode. So when the plane landed, 11 unexploded 20-millimeter shells were taken out of the fuel tank. The shells were dismantled, and to the amazement of everyone, all were empty of explosives. And inside one shell, there was a note, written in Czech. Translated, it read, "This is all we can do for you now." A member of the Czech underground working in a German munitions factory had admitted the explosives in at least 11 of the 20-millimeter shells on his assembly line. The worker must have wondered often if the quiet work he was doing to subvert the Nazi war effort would make any difference to the outcome of the war at all. Now, show of hands, who else has had that wondering, that feeling that you're not making a difference? Hi, my name is Titus Heric, and today I would like to tell you about some other people in history who obeyed God and likely never found out if it made any difference to the future. These are the heroes of the faith. Hebrews 11. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen, for by it the elders received a good report. By faith we realize that the universe was made by God's word, so that things which are seen were not made by things which are visible. By faith Abel offered up to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, through which he was commended as being righteous, God commending him by accepting his gifts. Through his faith, though he died, he still speaks. By faith Enoch was taken up by God so that he should not see death, and he was not found because he was taken up by God. Now before he was taken up, he was commended as having pleased God. For without faith it is impossible to please him, for whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. By faith, Noah, being warned by God concerning things as yet unseen, in reverent fear, built an ark for the saving of his family, and by doing this, he condemned the world and became an heir to the righteousness that comes by faith. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the land he was to receive as an inheritance, and he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith, he went to live in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, fellow heirs to the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city that has a foundation, whose designer and builder is God. By faith, Sarah herself received the power to conceive, even when she was past the age, because she considered him faithful who had promised. All these died in faith, not having received the things promised, but having seen them and greeted them from afar, and having acknowledged that they were strangers and exiles on the earth. For whoever speaks thus makes it clear that they are seeking a homeland. And if they had been thinking of the land out from which they had come, they would have had opportunity to return to it. But as it is, they were seeking a better country, a heavenly one. And as such, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has built for them a city. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promise was in the act of offering up his only son, of which it was said, "Through Isaac your descendants shall be named." For he considered God able to raise even him from the dead, through which, figuratively speaking, he did receive him back. By faith, Isaac invoked future blessings on Jacob and Esau. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons, bowing his head in worship over the head of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he was dying, made predictions of the Israelites' exodus from Egypt and gave instructions concerning his bones. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents because they saw that the baby was beautiful and they did not fear the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was an adult, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter because choosing instead to be mistreated with the people of God rather than enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. For he considered the reproach of Christ greater wealth than the great treasures of Egypt. By faith, he left Egypt, not being afraid of the king's wrath, for he endured as seeing the one who was invisible. By faith, he kept the Passover and sprinkled the blood so that the destroyer of the firstborn could not touch them. By faith, the people crossed the Red Sea on dry ground, but when the Egyptians attempted to do the same, they were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they had been circled for 7 days. And by faith, Rahab the prostitute did not perish with those who had been disobedient because she gave a warm welcome to the spies. And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, of David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, obtained promises, shut the mouths of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, were made strong in weakness, became mighty in war, and put foreign armies to flight. Women received their dead back by resurrection, and others were tortured, refusing to accept release so that they might rise to live a better life. Others were mocked and flogged and even put in chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, sawn in two, killed with the sword. They went about in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, afflicted, and mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy, wandering about in deserts and mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. And all these, though commended for their faith, did not receive what was promised. For God had provided something better for us, that apart from us, they should not be made perfect. So in conclusion, just like all the heroes of the faith mentioned in Hebrews 11, we should also trust God and trust that we are making a difference even if we don't see it. So next time you have that feeling, that wondering if you're making a difference, just remember, God has a plan and you are part of it.